Alright, what is up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about the NFL Week 14 scores and NBA recap of the in-season tournament. Okay, Buccaneers beat the Falcons 29-25. Buccaneers and Falcons, big divisional game. I think this game's probably going to decide who wins that division. Bears-Lions, big upset here. Lions have lost to two in-division teams with a worse record than them in the past 2 weeks. Just the Bears have been playing a lot better now with Justin Fields back. Bengals-Colts, not really too surprising, but Jake Browning has looked amazing in the past 2 games. Browns-Jaguars, also a really close game, with Joe Flacco playing pretty well. Saints-Panthers, you can see how that game goes. It's not really surprising, because Panthers kind of horrible. Texans-Jets, on the other hand, is really surprising. Zach Wilson played amazing, and on the other hand, C.J. Stroud has a concussion now, and he's questionable for next game. Rams-Ravens, final in overtime, 37-31. That was an amazing game. Both teams played great. It's just Lamar had an awesome game. Vikings versus Raiders, a little bit surprising, 3-0, very disappointing, with Justin Jefferson having a chest injury. He just came out of the hospital two days ago, hoping he comes back and praying for him. 49ers versus Seahawks, 28-16. A little bit closer than I thought it would be, but both teams are probably going to make the playoffs, so I'm not very surprised. Bills-Chiefs, very, very controversial game here, with Mahomes crying at the end because he's a little baby. But it is true, Kadarius Toney was offsides, so Bills win that game. Broncos-Chargers, yeah, Chargers are absolutely awful. Broncos, they're back. They might win the division, honestly. Cowboys-Eagles, what a crazy game. Eagles sucked. Jalen Hurts had a pretty bad game, and the Cowboys played amazing. 2 upsets here. Titans beating the Dolphins by 1 point. The Dolphins last season didn't win 1 game in December and was 8-3, which was the same as last game, but now they're 9-4. So hopefully this doesn't ruin them at all. And then Packers-Giants. Of course the Packers have to lose to the Giants. Why wouldn't they? As you should know, me and Mitt Marshall's favorite team are the Packers. So, kind of disappointed that they lost. Tommy DeVito had a really good game, though, for the Giants. And then Cardinals and Commanders on a bye week. I would actually have liked to see Cardinals play the Commanders, maybe. So I feel like that'd be a kind of a closer game, just because they both are pretty mid. Okay, now let's head over to the in-season tournament. The Lakers won the very first in-season tournament ever, with LeBron James winning the MVP. I feel like this was a really, it helps the NBA, just to have another tournament besides just the end of the year. Because I feel like both the Lakers and Pacers aren't really going to be doing much in the actual playoffs. So this is good for them to just, play good and win something during in-season, that even though they won't win anything during the off-season. Anthony Davis dominated with 41 points, 20 rebounds, and 4 blocks. And LeBron had 24 points, which is pretty good for both of them. I really think Anthony Davis should have, if it was just based off of 1 game, he probably would have won that MVP. The score was 123-109 to win the first ever cup. People are saying now that because LeBron James won an in-season tournament, that this goes towards his GOAT status. But really, it doesn't mean anything. Just because now it doesn't count as a championship or a ring, I would count it maybe like half. Because they're not going to do anything in the actual playoffs. And when the actual GOAT, Michael Jordan, was in the league, they didn't have this, so it didn't really matter. What the? No. Now let's check some fantasy football and basketball, just to see how everything went last week for some players, some key players, some players that overperformed and some players that underperformed in both fantasy football and basketball for the past couple weeks. CJ Stroud's questionable. He had a concussion. That's not good. Justin Herbert, sadly, last game, sprained his finger. That really sucks. He's out for the rest of the season. Chargers didn't really have a chance of making the playoffs anyway, so it's nothing crazy bad. Puka Nacua, last week, 2 weeks ago against the Browns, he had an amazing game with 105 yards and for four receptions for 105 yards. Last week, he was pretty okay. Someone who definitely underperformed and is now injured for, I don't know if he's going to be back next game, Justin Jefferson. He only got 4.7 fantasy points with 27 yards. Even though he did leave with an injury, so it's not really his fault. It was a chest injury, and hopefully, I'm praying he gets better. Not just for my team, because I'm the number 1 seed, because I'm amazing, but just for his health and just for his season to help him get better. Christian McCaffrey, he's been crazy this season. Last game, 145 yards, 16 attempts, no touchdowns though, which is fine, I guess. Josh Allen, pretty amazing game against Philly. 2 pretty good games last 3 weeks, just not with, obviously, week 13 with his bye. 339 yards, 2 touchdowns against Philly. Arguably one of the best teams in the whole NFL, and probably top 3 in NFC. And then the Chiefs, 233 yards for a touchdown, and he won the game for them. I mean, Kadarius Toney lost the game for the Chiefs. Brandon Aubrey, look at this, 23 fantasy points this week. That's crazy. I think that might be one of the highest. He got the most points on my team this week, which helped me win, even though I would have probably won anyway. 125-94. And then Mitt Marshall is Mahomes, who he's been probably going to lose first round just because he's not playing amazing. And let's go to men's basketball. This is my team. Pretty good. Except for LaMelo. Hopefully he gets a lot better. I feel like he gets injured every year and misses at least half the year due to his ankle injury. LeBron's ranked the number 1 small forward, power forward. Not surprised. With him dropping 25 in the last game against Detroit as not part of the in-season tournament. Playing 29 minutes. He's been restricted in minutes for the past couple games, actually. And yeah, you can tell I'm not doing too good in fantasy basketball. I don't know why my team's not doing too well, but they just aren't. And then let's go to the best team in the league. Like, how is this team better than mine? I mean, Larry Markkinen is the best. Larry Markkinen and Darius Garland are easily the best players on this team. Never mind, they have Zion on their bench. I don't know how. And I'm not doing horrible. I mean, 2-5 is pretty bad, but I just think I can do better. Cam Thomas though, don't mind the -5, but look at the other things. He's had a breakout season this year. I feel like Cam Thomas could be an all-star. I wouldn't be surprised, and he can definitely count on getting a good amount of votes. Do we want to cover hockey? Not really. Because I know Mitt Marshall is going to be covering baseball, hopefully. Obviously, I was the first one to post about Ohtani. But obviously now his contract's looking a bit different, with him getting $2 million for 10 years, and once he retires, gets $68 million, which I think is pretty smart, actually. Just because once he retires, he has really steady income. $68 million each year. My team in fantasy basketball is doing really well. Not basketball, I'm stupid. Hockey. I don't really know much about hockey. All I know is Connor McDavid's pretty good. And that, yeah, he's really good. And Edmonton is also really good. What other things should we talk about? Maybe, but let's touch up on a little bit of baseball, just in case Mitt Marshall doesn't talk about it, aka Max, if you want to call him that. But last season I won 18-3. I don't know how, because I'm just better, and I don't know, like, nothing about baseball. Ohtani is a Dodger. This looks edited. Like, Dodgers are gonna win the championship. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. They are just crazy stacked. Like, they have some of my favorite players. Obviously not my favorite player. Like, currently, because that's the one, the only, Julio Rodriguez. If I can look for him. No, bruh. No, not that one. This one. He did pretty mid last season. It's his fault. Definitely, I don't think I want to touch up on WNBA, because don't really care about that. So I feel